Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name's Asabi and I have lost over 200 pounds. My highest was 320. I'm sitting usually between 110, 115 around now. And I want to share with you the 5 things I wish I knew before I started my weight loss journey. And they're the things that nobody seems to talk about that were essential in losing weight. And at the end I have a bonus one that honestly is the most important one. But here we go. Here's the number one question I have for you. Why aren't you willing to work as hard for yourself as you do for the people who are paying you? Everybody knows what it's like to work like a long 9 to 5 job, or maybe 10 hours a day, 15-hour days, 80-hour weeks, 40-hour weeks. It doesn't matter how many hours you work. We're always working our ass off for somebody else. And then somehow, some way, we don't ever have time for ourselves. And here's the thing, it's your life. And if you don't have your health, which is the most important thing in the world, you don't have anything. And that's a question I had to ask myself, honestly. I did a job that, long story short, put me in the ER, thinking I was having a stroke at way too young, but because of my size and being 320 pounds, I was laying there like praying to God I didn't die. And in that moment, I just heard like this voice and this question like, Asabi, why are you so willing to work yourself to the grave for someone who's paying you, but you're not willing to work that hard on yourself? And so that's the number one question you have to ask yourself, because once you have that perspective shift, that identity shift, it changes everything. So you really have to get real with yourself and ask yourself, why aren't you as willing to work for yourself as you are for somebody who's paying you? When if you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to work for them anyway. Yeah, we all have bills, we all have things we have to pay. But if you're not healthy and you can't show up to work because you're so sick, because you have a heart attack or stroke, or you get diabetes, or a myriad of other things, you're not going to be able to do that job anyway. So you got to ask yourself that tough question. And that was the number one question I asked myself. And when I got real with myself and changed everything to be like, okay, Sabi, what would your life look like if you spent the next year working harder on you than you do for someone who's paying you? And it was really one of the biggest keys, the mental shifts I was able to make to lose weight. Number two, you cannot hate yourself to healthy. Sure, you can hate yourself to skinny and be really unhealthy and lose the weight. I've done it hundreds of times. I've been overweight since I was like 5 years old. I've always body shamed myself. I've done diets where I've starved myself. I do not recommend that. I've done all these drastic things because I was ashamed of myself, because I hated myself, because I felt like I deserved to be punished for being fat. And most of the time I didn't lose weight, but the times that I would, I always gained it back. And I'm truly convinced now that it doesn't matter what modalities you use to lose weight, to truly keep it off, to lose the weight, to be healthy. Because obviously, being skinny doesn't mean you're healthy, and being overweight doesn't mean you're unhealthy. There are a lot of people who are skinny fat and are really unhealthy. And there are a lot of people who are technically overweight by the BMI scale and are incredibly healthy. But here's the most important thing. You cannot hate yourself to healthy. You have to love yourself there. You have to have and show grace for yourself. The world alone will look at you at a certain type of way when you're overweight. Why would you add to it? And let me ask you something. If you were in a store and you saw some guy or some girl talking to their child and they were like, you fatty, you're disgusting, why are you doing this? And if they were saying that to their child, you would call Child Protective Services on them, right? So why do you think it's okay to talk to yourself that way? Whether out loud or as a side dig, and you play it off as self-deprecating, but it's truly harmful because your body hears that, your mind hears that, your soul hears that. You have to love yourself to healthy. And until you can start loving yourself during the process and loving yourself to healthy, you'll never ever keep the weight off. I guarantee you. Number three, and this is going to be real controversial, but it's true. Not all calories are the same. It is bullshit when they're like a calorie is a calorie. No, they are not. They're not. A 500-calorie salad or chicken and rice or chicken and veggies or steamed fish and whatever. A healthy meal is not going to be processed by your body the same way as 500 calories of ice cream or 500 calories of chocolate. It's just not. A calorie is not just a calorie, And I'm sure people are going to be sliding in the DMs in the comments and go for it. But they are not processed the same. They are not digested the same. The healthy meal fuels your body. The unhealthy meal, the sugar, body just like puts that shit on your ass. And not in the good Kardashian way either. It'll go to your hips. It'll go to your fatty liver. It'll go to all these things. Don't worry about as much about, oh, this is only 250 calories, but it's, chocolate or it's a beer. No, worry less about calories and more about the quality of calories you're eating, because a calorie is not just a calorie. And there's a lot of science now coming out to prove that. So a calorie is not just a calorie, it's bullshit. Which leads me to calories in and calories out. Also, lies. Complete and utter lies. I know many of you have been like, I work my ass off. I eat 800 calories a day and I'm still not losing weight. And people probably shame you like, oh, really? And you're like, no, really. I track all of my calories. I track all of my macros. I do all the right things. I exercise 6, 7 times a week, sometimes twice a day, and I'm not losing any weight. That's happened to you. It's happened to me all the time. It is not calories in, calories out. Actually, one time the story, and I do not suggest this, but I ate and I tracked everything I ate. I ate no more than 900 calories a day. And for 2 weeks straight, I walked every single day for 9 miles. Ask me how much weight I lost in those 2 weeks. 3 pounds. I lost 3 pounds. The math ain't mathing. There's just no way. And it's because my body freaked the fuck out and it went into survival mode. And it was like, we're not doing this. And I didn't lose the weight. People will have you convinced out here and shaming you. All the calories are the same and it's calories in and calories out. And that's bullshit. So stop beating yourself up about every single calorie. In fact, that is probably stressing your system out so much. And they've proven that stress and cortisol will stop you from losing weight. And I found that true for me. Like the minute I chilled the F out and took a step back and started to not obsess over every single macro, every single calorie that I burned, the weight started to come off. It really is bullshit. It's the quality calories. It's what you're eating. It's what you're doing for exercise. Which leads me to number 5. You're doing too much. I know. But listen to me. You are probably doing too much because you've been on this hamster wheel of losing weight, and then you're beating yourself up and you're stressing yourself out and you're counting your every calorie and you're shaming yourself and your body's, could you just love me for a second? Could we just be a team in this? Could you not berate me and shame me while I'm trying to survive, instead of going all in and going like balls to the wall and just overnight being like, that's it, I'm cutting my calories and I'm going to work out for an hour or 2 hours every day or whatever nonsense it is. Don't try and do it all at once. Just choose one thing, one healthy new habit a week or every 2 weeks and get that down. Maybe the first healthy habit you incorporate is, I'm going to cut out sugar. And that's it. Don't worry about the working out. Don't worry about counting macros. Just cut out the sugar and get used to that. Because when you try to cut out the sugar and stop drinking and working out every day and counting all your macros, it's too much. Your body's like a supercomputer. It likes its habits. It likes its routine. So does your brain and your mind. When you try to inundate it and go like cold turkey on everything, it slams on the brakes emotionally and physically. It goes into shock. Where it's, whoa, like, what are you doing, lady? What are you doing? And it freaks out because it's trying to figure out, why are you changing my programming? What are you doing? It's too many habits, and it's also not going to stick. It's not going to work. And then you're setting yourself up for failure. So stop setting yourself up for failure. Just choose one habit. Maybe that one habit is, I'm going to drink my 8 glasses of water every day. And this week, that's all I have to worry about. And it does 2 things. 1, it takes the pressure off, which will lower your cortisol, which will allow you to lose weight. 2, it helps you establish a habit that you can keep doing, that you won't just drop because you feel so overwhelmed because you try to do it all at once. So stop trying to do it all at once. And then the second week, you might be like, I'm going to stop eating processed sugar. So now You're glowing because you're drinking your 8 ounces of water every day. And now you're going to cut out sugar. Also, not counting calories. Also, not worrying about the gym. You're just incorporating healthy calories. Will slowly over time, you're going to build up and feel really great about yourself because you're like, I'm drinking my water. I'm cutting my sugar. And then the next week, you could be like, you know what? I'm just going to walk 15 minutes today. Don't go, oh, I got to go 90 minutes or it doesn't count, because I used to do that all the time and then I'd burn out after a couple of weeks. And also your body freaks out because you go from 0 to 60. Don't do that. Just incorporate a 15-minute walk 3 times a week. In fact, even if you want to walk more than 15 minutes, I highly suggest you don't. I suggest you turn around and just stop or come back home if you're outside, get off the treadmill at the gym, and then leave, even if you want to keep going. Because this is another thing. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to make you feel not overwhelmed, not pressured, and you're going to feel successful because then 3 days a week you showed up at the gym. Why? Because you're like, I just had to do 15 minutes. But if you think to yourself every morning when you wake up, oh, I got to go to the gym and I got to do at least 90 minutes. What are the chances of you doing that 5 days a week, every day of a week, and really keep up that habit? Like, seriously, what are the chances? For most of us, it's like nil to none. Then you don't do it, or you only do it for a few days, then you get burnt out, then you stop, then you beat yourself up, calling yourself a failure, or whatever horrible things you say to yourself. And then you just repeat the cycle. It's like this horrible hamster wheel. Just do one thing at a time and slowly incorporate new healthy habits. And then by default, you'll feel really good about yourself. You'll feel really successful. You won't feel overwhelmed. And then all of a sudden, one day, you're going to wake up and you're drinking all your water and it's not hard for you. You're going to the gym 3 to 5 times a week. It's no big deal. You've cut out sugar. Also not a big deal. And the weight's just going to start coming off. I promise you. And then the last thing, and the most important thing, don't let people shame you about how you choose to lose weight for you. Whether you want to do it the natural way, whatever that means. If what feels best for you is to get VSG surgery or bypass surgery, then do that. I'm no doctor, but you should talk to your doctor about it, look into it, and do what's best for you. If what's best for you is to take Ozempic or to do keto or intermittent fasting or Mounjaro or Zepbound or whatever it is, it really honestly doesn't matter. It's nobody's business but your own. So whatever choices you make for you and your body, don't let anybody shame you about the approach you're taking for you. It's your body, it's your life, it's your choice. And just take the pressure off of you. I suggest, and what I did is I worked in silence. I didn't tell anybody my plans, how I was going to lose weight, that I was even trying to lose weight. I kept it all to myself because I didn't want other people's opinions. Even if they thought they were well-meaning, oftentimes they cannot be. You just don't want that pressure of somebody asking you, like, how's the diet going? Did you weigh in this week? You look good. How much have you lost? And then you're like, oh, I didn't lose anything this week. That's a lot of pressure. Take the pressure off yourself. It's like, work in silence. Do what's best for you. It's nobody's business how you lose weight, what you choose to do. It's your body. It's your choice. And just love yourself. Anyway, those are the top 6 things I really wish. I know I said 5, but 6. And I hope they work for you. So thank you. Please subscribe. If you have any questions, if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about in the future, please let me know. And thank you for watching my channel.